Welcome to Momentum Monday. Today is September 12th, 2022. Howard, how is the VIX in Italy? Are people worrying about anything or buying stocks,
No,
selling stocks?
the VIX is always four, is what I say in Italy. The They're a beautiful place. I hadn't really stayed in Lake Como ever, other than for a few meals, and it's really spectacular. I can't. The lake is right there.
Mhm.
Walk us through what you're seeing. I saw that it's kind of just a nothing day, right, in the market.
I mean, the past few days, definitely we're seeing a bounce. And after 3 down weeks in a row, definitely there's some speculation then that the situation in Ukraine might be turning around, and that is the main reason behind the recent rally. We're
Yeah, but
definitely,
energy gapped up. So if there's a
yeah.
resolution, yeah.
So definitely, if there's a resolution, probably energy will be under pressure. But at least we saw some weakness in fertilizer stocks, as you know. Ukraine, Russia, Belarus account for more than 50% of the potash in the world. So at least
Very interesting.
in terms of
Very.
that, obviously tomorrow, uh, September 13th, we have new CPI readings. I think at this point, I doubt there'll be a huge surprise.
Well, if
Um,
there is, they've already like dampened expectations. If there's going to be a surprise, it's going to be to the down. Like it's going
yeah,
to be a
definitely.
bad
I mean,
surprise.
currently the
Yeah,
market wants to rally, at least the past
yeah.
few days. We'll see if that will continue. And as I said before last week, we were down 3 weeks in a row from a declining 200-day moving average. So having a
Mhm.
little bit of a bounce, should not get everyone excited. The good, I mean, let's say the silver lining from last week is that that tiny bounce in the indices actually helped quite a few momentum leaders to break out, or at least attempt a breakout, which which is positive. At least such a tiny move in the indices is helping the momentum stocks to really break out. ENPH, Solar Name, First Solar, um, Celsius, it bounced near its rising 50-day moving average. So momentum leaders, many of them are acting constructively.
Hmm.
So mm, either the market is not bearish enough based on the all the macro scare that you mentioned last week, or maybe much of the worst has already been discounted. It remains to be seen. Obviously, the Fed is still uh, going to continue its tightening. Uh, they're talking about 50 to 75% basis points interest rates increase in 2 weeks. And at this point, that's probably priced in. But what we're seeing under the surface of the indices is that there are momentum stocks, individual momentum stocks that are acting constructively. As you can see here, the biotech sector, yes, still below or near its declining 200-day, but it's acting constructively. Look at this, a few
Yeah,
accumulation days. So
yeah.
definitely quite a few names in the sector that are, um, near all-time highs. Well, not those two, but plenty of them just
Yeah.
acting constructively and just biding time, building new bases. So there's something for everyone. I mean, you saw Apple is up what 8% in the past 2 days. After it closed below its 200-day, 50-day,
Yeah.
now it's back above them. So there's a little bit of a chop, at least in the mega caps.
No, but Fang, other than Apple, like even Apple now,
Yeah, it's
Fang
all about Apple at
really
this point. Yeah.
relative. There's a lot of weakness in Fang, and but that is interesting that Apple and Tesla
I mean,
are
choppiness is the right word, not really weakness. They've been
relative
back and
weakness
forth.
in
Yeah.
Fang, relative weakness. Yeah, I got no edge. I mean, the edge is not to play for guys like me. The edge is, they're paying you to buy
Yeah, you
munis.
need to be
They're paying
flexible
the
in this
wealthy
market.
people to
Yeah.
they're paying
Uh,
the wealthy people to take the yield here. and this is the toughest I've seen it for as long as I've seen it. It's going on, 15 months where anything that I do is broken. But I don't want to get hit in the head too often. So I'm keeping myself busy. If the dollar can, listen, rates go up, the dollar's strong. Until that kind of gets broken, it's going to be very hard for growth stocks. They're still overvalued. Like I look at Snap and I'm like, let's just pull up Snap, and I think like, what's the valuation I was just talking about it today with the guys that I ride with.
21 billion.
So 21 billion, ad-based model, and then I look at Spotify, I go, let's pull up Spotify. Relatively, if I'm going to own a $20 billion company,
The same.
I'm going to own the company with, I don't know how many 100 million subscribers. So there's like relative things that make sense to me, but it's not working. Like if you're going to tell me I can buy two businesses at the same valuation right now, none of them are cheap, but if I'm going to buy a brand at 20 billion, I'm going to buy Spotify. So there's some stuff that should be working relatively that isn't. So I put my head around these things. I'm struggling. So I'm trying to do less. There is risk on, like you said, biotech, crypto's bouncing, Apple's trying to bounce. But that NASDAQ below the 200 days still, right? Like that's just guiding. I don't know, nothing to get excited about. Like, I'd probably be more excited if the NASDAQ was above 350.
I mean, the indices are usually lagging, right? So we need to pay attention more to momentum leaders, and momentum leaders will be the first one to make new 52-week highs.
There's nothing, solar is not enough.
Yeah.
So, and a few biotech.
I mean, the past week was definitely short covering rally. Definitely, even the software names bounced, and definitely many of them are up several days in a row.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean,
I own Elastic. I mean, there's some stuff that's getting me optimistic. Netflix is showing some relative strength finally. What's interesting about Netflix too and Spotify for me is, I'm in Italy, and you open up Netflix in Italy, and there's like 100 shows in Italy. Like, so it's like people like to bag on Netflix versus, HBO, and other than Disney, Netflix is like global. And listen, we can knock how much they're spending, but like you open it up and there's shows in all the languages that you want if you're traveling. So I'm watching some like interesting stuff. But again, nothing's cheap. So I'm glad we got to do a quick show. I'm exhausted, everybody, but it's fun to share the bike rides. How's San Diego? I heard there's like a storm bearing down on San Diego. Is that true?
It rained for like a day, and just light rain. That was the whole storm.
Oh, that was
it's beautiful. It's just a little bit warmer than usual and humid, but other than that, it's nice.
All right, buddy. Everybody have a great week. We'll be back next week.
Yeah, all right, Howard. Enjoy your stay there.
See you, buddy.